Okay, Rabbi, good evening. We're going to talk about tonight about the Parashat Shavua, which is Parashat Yitro. So the Parashat Yitro, a very interesting idea. What happens with Yitro? First of all, who's Yitro? It says the Zohar Kadosh, Yitro was a Gilgul. He was a reincarnation of who? Of Cain. Right. Yeah, he was a reincarnation of Cain. What does that mean? Moshe Rabbeinu was a reincarnation of Hevel. So Cain and Hevel, so Yitro and Moshe Rabbeinu were like brothers, from the old generation, from the old school, from that's the idea. So they had unfinished business. You understand? Yitro and Cain, Yitro and Moshe Rabbeinu, because Cain killed Hevel, and he also took his sister away from him, kidnapped his sister to marry her. So therefore, there was some tikkunim that had to be made. You understand? That's the idea. So Zohar Kadosh says some very deep things about Cain, by the way. First of all, you have to understand. It says Cain was really the son of the snake. Ben Nachash. What does that mean? And what happened was that when Chava had some friendship with the snake, some business with him, whatever, so the snake managed to also have some relations with her, Gamochira, That's what happened. So they say, so it says Zohar Kadosh, that Cain was really the son of the snake. The truth is, that this can be also talking about the spiritual element. What does that mean? The Cain had the zohama, he had the impurity of the snake. And this is why Cain was a sinner, he was a Rasha, that's the idea. But nevertheless, it says the Arizal says that Cain, he had a bad part in him, a bad element in him, because of this, that he was the son of the snake. But there was also something good about him. You know why? Because Cain was a Bechor, he was the firstborn. So that there's a Kedusha. The Torah tells us that the firstborn has a Kedusha, he has a holiness. That's why we have all kinds of rules about Bechor, you have to redeem him and all kinds of things, right? If a person has a firstborn son, he has to go to the Kohen and redeem him, because he has Kedusha, he has holiness. This is the idea. So Cain also was firstborn. So says the Arizal. No, doesn't count. Doesn't count. Yeah. Has to be from the real part, right? Exactly. So says the Arizal that Cain, because he had a kedusha bechor, he was a firstborn. So what happened was that he was actually also had a holy part in him also. There was a holy element in his neshama. So therefore, Kadosh Baruch Hu, what he did was, after Cain died, he divided up the bad part, the good part, and he brought the good parts into Yitro. So Yitro was the gilgul of Cain, the good part of Cain. So the good part of Cain, says the Arizal, was very holy. And this is why Yitro converted to Judaism. This is the reason why. The good part had to go there. So what happened was that Moshe Rabbeinu was the Gilgul of Hevel. So therefore, they had to get together and correct all the sins that were done between them, all kinds of things like this. This is what happened. So what happens is interesting.
Why Yitro is not go with Israel, with the Jewish people?
Why did he go?
Why you don't go with them?
The truth is he wanted to go back, and bring all his family. To convert them first, to convince them to Ashiastaros, and then he came back. He wanted to come back. That was the idea. First, he wanted to go and prepare everything, and then to come back, as a mishpacha, Jamati. Tell Jamati. We wanna.
In the end, he not came.
He came in the end. He converted. Yeah, he converted. He joined Am Yisrael in the end. Yeah. So what happened was that they converted the sons of Yitro, and they became big tzaddikim. Right? They say that it says in the Midrash that the descendants of Yitro were Rashi Sanhedrin, the heads of the high court. They became big chachamim. This is the idea, So Yitro was considered to be the good part of Yitro was considered to be very, very holy, and very big chachamim came from him. Yitro. This is the idea. Interesting. It says right that when Yitro heard about what happened with Am Yisrael, that Hakadosh Baruch Hu saved them from Mitzrayim, Yitro knew about all this. You know why? Because he was the advisor of Paro. He was the advisor over there. As the Chazal say, right? Yitro had Paro had 3 advisors. He had Bil'am, one advisor. Number 2 was Eov, and number 3 was Yitro. That's the idea. So what happened was that Yitro knew everything which was going on in Mitzrayim. So he came over there, and it says, right? Va'ichad Yitro ala kol hatova asher asa Adonai leYisrael. It says that he was happy about what Kadosh Baruch Hu did for Israel, that he saved them from Paro, from Mitzrayim. But it uses a language over here, a strange language. It doesn't say Vaisamach. He was Sameach. It says Vayichad. Vayichad, this is a language which is not usually used for Simcha. This is not usually used for this context. You ever hear somebody in Israel say Vayichad? No, nobody says something like that. So then why does it say this language over here in the Pasuk? This is the question, right? Why doesn't it say Vaisamach? So that's what it should say. So say the Chazal that there was also here a different element. That even though Yitro felt a simcha, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved Am Yisrael, but he also had some pain from that also as well. Yeah. He was happy, Gai Charau, Gai Samach. He was happy. Gai Charda. So it says like this, right? That Vayichad, it's also a language of tsar, like a person is like gets stabbed, the danadat, kiwa. He's hurting from that, right? So Yitro was also happy on the one side. On the other side, he was also very hurt by this. Why was he hurt? What's the reason why? So the Chazal teaches over here something very important. They say Yitro was a ger. He converted to Judaism, right? This is what it was. Ger tzedek, right? So they say that why did Yitro hurt when he heard this, that Israel, HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved Israel, and Mitzrayim was punished because he was a part of Mitzrayim. He was living there. That was his country, So he felt pain because of the fact that he was a part of that society. So they say you learn from here a good lesson. If you have a person who's a ger, a convert, right? Don't tell him bad things about his old nation that he came from there. Tell him, the people you came from, they're all Rashaim, Bedureb, this kind of thing, right? Don't tell him like that. It's going to hurt him because he still has. Yeah, he converted. Yeah, Gadar Judah, Gadmor Judah. Yeah. Titon Undoda, right? Nobody can force you to become a convert. Yeah, they became big chachamim. Did chachamim gamo with them, Magiskan. Yeah, big rabbis. He went back to get his family. He came back again. That's the idea. Yeah, they were in the Midbar. They came back.
So he was 40 years with Israel?
Who? Yitro? I don't know exactly if it was 40 years, but he came back. That's it, right? He came back and they converted. That's what happened. So now what happened was that Yitro, because of this issue that you're talking about, what happened was that Yitro bought Tzipporah to Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Because this was his wife. And they say that this was the Gilgul of this woman that he took from his brother, right? Cain took from Hevel, so he had to give back. This is the reason why he gave him back. This is the idea. But you learn from here something very important, right? That don't tell a ger, about his people. Let's say he's a Georgian, converted to Judaism. Don't tell him, it's not nice to speak like that because he's going to get hurt from that. So you know what the Zohar Kadosh says about this? It says like this, that even though when a person converts to Judaism, a ger, he converts to Judaism, he leaves the klipot for the tumah, the bad side, it comes from kedusha. He comes under the wings of the kedusha, of the Shekhinah. That's what it says, right? But nevertheless, says Zohar Kadosh, some remnant of the old, tumah remains over there in the ger. It's not 100%, The giur is not 100% cleansing. There's still about 10% left over there. You know what I mean? So therefore, this is the reason I have to be careful, because the ger still has some connection with his old nation as well. He's not 100% to the other side. There's still something left over there. So right, exactly. Yeah. Right, yeah. So that's the idea. So you have to be very careful about that. But there's also another thing. They say that because of that, when the ger converts, he still has this part of the klipa is still left over. So what does that mean? That you have to be careful also not to treat a ger too rough. Zalian grubat. You know what I mean? Because they still have some of that left over. So you have to consider that. You have to understand that it's not 100%. They say, by the way, something very interesting about the Giur. The Zohar Kadosh says something very deep about this. They say that if you look at the daughters of Midian, right, that what happened was over there, the Jews made a war with Midian, and they killed off all the people, all the men, and also what happened with the daughters, they brought the daughters back, the girls, after the war. Moshe Rabbeinu saw them. He says, "What are you doing? You didn't kill these daughters? They're the ones who caused you to sin, and you left them alive." So what do? But they want to take them as slaves. This was the reason why they brought them. You understand? The Jews. They want to take them as shvachot, right? To make them mosam sachureb. That's the idea. This is the reason why they brought them. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, listen, we're going to make a way to cleanse this problem, to solve the problem. The one who has relations with a man, was married or had relations with a man, we have to kill them. Only the ones who are really virgin, never was with a man. So those we can keep them alive, and you can take them for you, right? If they want to convert, they can convert. If you want to take them as a mosam sachura, as a maid, you can take them as a maidservant. Whatever it is you want to do. So it says Zohar Kadosh something very deep about this. They say that also the same thing we find, by the way. I'll give you another example, which is when we have Parashat Kitetze. Over there it talks about when you go out to war, right? And you see a beautiful woman over there, right? Who's a goya. They used to send them out there to to confuse the soldiers. That's the idea, right? To confuse them, right? Yeah. So what happened was that you're allowed to take her, be with her one time only. That's the halakha. I'm kaltan. It's very big Yetzirah. One time he can be with her, and then he has to take her back home to his house. She's going to be over there 1 month to see if she wants to convert. If she wants to convert, we convert her. But says the Zohar Kadosh something interesting about these two cases that we just mentioned. You see from here that what did the Chazal say? That if you convert this lady that you took in the war, right, you're going to have a bad son from her, a rebellious son. This is the idea, right? Why? What's the reason why? Even if she did conversion, even if she did to Gakata. Yeah, you know why? Because it says like this, right? That since this woman has a husband, a goy, also, and she came to the war, so they say that a woman who was already married to another man, a goy, her conversion is not going to cleanse her so good. A lot of it is going to remain over, the bad part. You understand? And this is the reason why Moshe Rabbeinu told the Jews when they brought the daughters of Midian back, the ones who had relations with a man, don't take them, because those are tameh. They cannot be converted so good. They cannot be cleansed so well. This is the idea, This is the same thing we find over here also with this war. When you go out to the war, the reason why you have a bad son from this lady is because she was a married lady. You took her from her husband, and so it says in Zohar Kadosh that the goy is tameh. He's tameh, and the goya is tameh also, right? They're both tameh. What does that mean? They have impurity. They have impurity in them. So what happens is that, so it says Zohar Kadosh, when they get married, this makes it even worse, because now the two parts of the tumah get together and becomes like a powerful tumah. Why? Because there's in the tumah, in the element of tumah, there's two elements over there. There's the male element, the zachar, and then there's a nekeva. Right? You heard about this before, right? Yes. So there's two types of tumah. There's the male and there's the female. So what happens is that when you have two tumah and they get together in one family, they get married, the tumah becomes very, very strong. So it says the Zohar Kadosh that a woman like this who's already been married to a goy, it's very hard to remove the tumah from her. So therefore, better to not to take a woman like this because of this reason. It's not halakha, but it's a suggestion. It's a good advice. It's not tovah. This is the idea. Person has to be careful about these things. But they say that if the woman was a virgin, she never was married to any man. Something like that. Even if she's not a virgin, but she was never married, to anybody. She never went steady with any boyfriend, whatever. So a woman like this is going to be better because she didn't have the tumah yet of being together with the man and the woman together, because this makes the tumah even stronger. This is the idea. Very good. Okay, so you get the idea. Also, another thing is, right, that we have to understand that over here we have the 10 Commandments. So why was the 10 Commandments given on the Parashat Yitro? This is also a reason for that. You know why? Because they say that because Yitro made a Kiddush Hashem to convert to Judaism and to accept the Torah, so Kadosh Baruch Hu gave him a kavod imisa. That the 10 Commandments is in your Parsha. It's something unbelievable, right? So Yitro got a big kavod that the 10 Commandments comes in his Parsha. You see right from there that what? That Kadosh Baruch Hu, it says in the Gemara, HaKadosh Baruch Hu ohevet hagerim. He loves the converts. He loves them. He very much loves the converts. So you see from here how much love he gave him. If he's converting L'Shem Shamayim, and we're also commanded as Jews, right? What? Ahavu tager. You also have to love the converts. So we are also commanded to love the converts as well. This is the idea, no?
So from the other side, why we have Parashat Balak?
That what?
Parashat Gamul.
Yeah.
So Israel, why Hashem give him Parashat on his name?
No, that's something else. He has a parsha on his name, but we're talking about the 10 Commandments was in his parsha. This is the kavod. You know what I mean?
But also it's a kavod for somebody.
That's also kavod. It's true. It's true.
Parasha on his name.
You know why? By the way, you're asking a very good question. You're asking a very good question. You know what the answer is to your question? That really, right? Bilam and Balak, they were very chashuv people. They were very important people. They could have been big tzaddikim. And they had the potential to be big tzaddikim, but they didn't realize the potential. So they had gadlut, they were big people. Anashim gdolim, they were big people. These were not regular people, you know what I mean? Bilam and Balak, right? That's the idea. So that's the reason why we call the parsha after their names, because these people were chashuv. They were big people. They say, right, as a general rule, that anybody who's mentioned in the Torah is a adam gadol. He was a big person. Small people are not mentioned in the Torah. If his name is mentioned there, he was a big man, adam gadol. Little people are not mentioned. Let's go on a little bit. So it says over here also another interesting, right? When the Jews came to Har Sinai to receive the Torah, it says in Zohar Kadosh that they were totally cleansed from all the tumah that they had, and also they were healed from all the diseases that they had. Everything, all the diseases that they had, they were limping, they were, whatever it was, right? Lame, broken arm, broken foot, broken this, everything was healed. Their vision was healed. They came to Har Sinai perfectly healed from all diseases. But also another thing, which is that they were totally healed in their neshama. All the Yetzer Hara was removed from them, and from the women, the Zohama of the snake, right? The impurity that the snake inculcated into Chava was also removed. So what does that mean? The Jewish people, when they received the Torah, the Ten Commandments, they were totally cleansed from everything. Okay. So what does that mean? That at this point, you know how holy they were? It says in the Zohar Kadosh that they were not supposed to die anymore. That's it. Death was already abolished at this point. Yeah. The death was abolished. All the impurity was abolished, everything, and the Yetzer Hara was also taken away from them. The Yetzer Hara had no power over them. The Satan was not able to go to them anymore to do anything with them. The Satan was afraid of them. That's what it says, right? Once they came to Har Sinai, they became so holy. Kadosh Baruch Hu told Satan like this. He told him, listen, so you see my people over there? They accepted the Torah. I give you permission to take anybody you want, to kill anybody. You're the Malach HaMavet. Satan is Malach HaMavet. He's the one who kills people when they come to die. But he told the Malach HaMavet, he told Satan, but my Jewish people, he says, you have no power over them. Don't touch them. Right? This is the way it was. Can you imagine? So until they did the chet of the golden calf, the sin, they had total immunity from the Yetzer Hara. They were totally immune from death. So meaning what? That they were on the level that Adam HaRishon was when he was created by Kadosh Baruch Hu. This is what happened. So what happened was that Satan, when he saw all this kedusha, all this gedulah, he made them fall by doing the sin of the calf, right? Of the chet egel. This is the reason why. So once they did the chet egel, all these things were removed. What does that mean? They lost the immunity from the Yetzer Hara. They lost the immunity from death. All these things that they lost. Also, they got a special crown. When they went to Har Sinai, everyone got a spiritual crown on their head. Something like, did he touch? Did he something like very? Everybody looks like very chashuv. Did So what happened was that when they sinned in the golden calf, that was also removed. They had to remove also the crown. So they lost everything. This is what happens. Can you imagine what one sin can cause, right? Everything they lost, because whatever they got on Har Sinai, all the kedusha they got over there, they lost it in the chet egel. Almost everything.
Such a holy people. What caused them to sin this?
In this world, the Yetzer Hara is very, very tricky, very sneaky.
They were not purified all the way.
They were, but when you sin, it comes back. This is the idea,
The Erev Rav make, not the Israel.
It's true, it's true. The Erev Rav they did. So why were the Jews punished? Because they didn't object.
Yes.
They didn't object. This is the reason why.
Yes.
They didn't object. They should have put their foot down.
They were not cleansed.
This is a very good question. What happens with the Erev Rav? So the truth is, right, it says in Zohar Kadosh that the Erev Rav was also cleansed. When they came to Har Sinai, the Zohama was also removed from them as well. And this is the reason why the Erev Rav has power over the Jewish people. They say, right, towards the end of the Yemei Mashiach, the Erev Rav is going to be sholet. It's going to be ruling over the Jewish people. Just like we see today, right? Wala ubeduri, Rosh Mamshala, Presidenti, wala ubeduri, Rasha Chadeba, it's a Damiani. You know why? Because this is the Erev Rav. The Erev Rav is sholet. This is what happens, right? So what happens is that the Erev Rav got cleansed. And this is the reason why they have power to have a kedusha, to be with the Jewish people. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to remove them, because they have no tikkun, they have no rectification. So what's going to happen is that before Mashiach comes, at the time of Mashiach, Moshe Rabbeinu is also going to come, because Moshe Rabbeinu was Mashiach. It's a big one, big nation. He's going to come. What is the job of Moshe Rabbeinu when Mashiach comes? To destroy the Erev Rav. This is his job. Because he converted them by mistake. He made a mistake. So he has to make a tikkun to remove them. What does he have to do to remove them? So as it says, he has to, those nitzotzot of kedusha, those sparks of holiness that they got from Har Sinai, he has to remove it from them. And then they're going to be destroyed. Because that's what keeps them alive. Because really they're Rasha'im, they're sinners. But they have those sparks of kedusha that they got from Har Sinai, that's what keeps them alive. So Moshe Rabbeinu, his job is to remove those things from them and to destroy them, right? Because until that happens, Mashiach cannot come. You know why? Because the Erev Rav, right, there's also part of the Erev Rav which is Amalek also in there. Amalek Abiyarian Magini. The Shema of Amalek. So until Amalek is destroyed, Mashiach cannot come. This is the reason why the Erev Rav has to be destroyed. Especially the ones who are Amalek. There is also Erev Rav which is Amalek. Yeah, there's the 5 different types. It says in the Zohar Kadosh, Chutner Yario. Erev Ravio. 5 different types. The worst one is Amalek. The worst one. What does the word say? You know who that is? How do you? No, we're talking about Jews. We're talking about Jews. You understand? So, how do you know if a Jew is Erev Rav? There's Amalek. You know why? It says Gaon Medina. If you see that Bale Machloket, Keteben Machloket Saketeben Jamachi. Chubebi, Ambaebi. This kind of. Always they're making Machloket problems because Machloket is the worst sin out of all. They say, right, by the way, that when you see Jews have Machloket, stay away from them. You know why? Because if you go into the Machloket, you'll be harmed by that. Because everybody who goes in, being shed is Machloket, this is the idea. So when you see Machloket, stay away. We're not talking about Machloket and Halacha. We're talking about Machloket, personal Machloket. This is the idea, for Kavod. This is the idea. Once you see that, stay away from that. Because whoever goes in over there, where do we learn that from? From Korach. Because Korach, whoever was in the Machloket, everybody got eaten up. Everybody got swallowed into the ground. So when it comes to Machloket, they say everybody gets punished, whether you're good or you're bad, whatever it is, right? Tzaddik, Rasha. Stay away from Machloket. This is the idea, right? This is what you learn from there. We had that a few times, right? So another interesting thing is, right, we have the 10 commandments over here. So we don't have time to go through all of them, maybe, but I want to tell you one interesting commandment that we have, which is the third commandment, right? It's talking about what? That don't mention the God, your name of God, in vain. So what is this talking about? The simple meaning is it's talking about when you swear to daipitza damen, asa shvuah. He made an oath, and he used the name of God, and it was a false oath. So this is transgressing this commandment, right? That's the idea, right? So if you do that, you're transgressing. Also, there's another one, which is what says the Chazal as well in the Gemara. There's also another type, which is that if you say the name of God and you make an oath, it's true, emetia. But it's called Shvuat Shav. You know what that means? That it's like obvious. Everybody knows this. So why are you swearing in the name of God something which is obvious? Everybody knows. Simple, pashut. So that's called Shvuat Shav. What does that mean? You're swearing about something which everybody knows, and you're using the name of God for no reason, because everybody knows that. Who are you trying to prove it to? There's nothing to prove over there. That's the idea. This is the reason why. This is according to a simple meaning of that. But the Chazal say also, the Rif and the Rambam, that this also, right, it applies when a person makes a bracha levatala or bracha shenat tzricha. He's mentioning the name of God for no reason. He's making a bracha which you don't need to make, right? He's not commanded to make this bracha. We already mentioned several cases like that. What are we talking about? For instance, let's say you have some foods, right? They brought you something to eat, right? Some dinner, whatever it is. So a person has to know, we're not blessing on everything when we eat dinner, right? There's certain things you bless on, there's certain things you don't bless on. Because there's the rule of ikar and tafel, the main food and the one that's coming on the side dish. So the rule is that when you have a meal, you're supposed to bless on the main food and not bless on the side dish. Because if you do, that's called bracha levatala. And you're going over this commandment according to Rif and the Rambam. Lo isa Shem Hashem right? Not isa. That's the idea. So a person has to be very careful. If you have it, like, let's say, for instance, I'll give you an example. Let's say a person, they brought you, right? Let's say you're not eating bread, right? They brought you some rice with chicken, right? Or some meat with chicken, or fish, whatever it is. So what's the bracha for that? Right? This is the question. Chicken? Yeah, why don't chicken? Right? What's the bracha?
Rice. You bring the bracha on rice.
Very good. So what's the bracha? That we blessed on the rice, but not on the chicken. Mm-hmm. We don't make shakol on the chicken. The person has to know that. If he makes shakol on chicken, it's bracha levatala. Why is that? Because the main thing is the rice over there. You know why? Because it's masbiyah. It satiates. So if he has a rice and chicken, he just makes bezonot and that's it. Right? On chicken, no bracha. No bracha. Why? Because it's tafel. This is a side. It's on the side. Right. That's the way it has to be. Yes.
Rice is
Gamsops. Right. Rice and chicken and what else? What, vegetable? That's also, we don't bless on the vegetable. Side dish. It's like side dish. Yeah. Bore mezonot. Right. Yeah, brings it. Yeah. So,
მოიცადე,
Yeah.
სიბაზე ბრიჯიშიბაში კი. სიბო ისა, დათო. როცა ივას აკეთებ, რძით აკეთებ, ბეზოროც ვაკურთებ, თვითონ თკბილიც არის. ესე იგი, თებშეც რო არის, მოხარშული, ივაზეც ბეზოროც.
yes, mezonot, yes. If it's boiled, it's mezonot. But if it's toasted rice, like cereal, like those cereals that they have, what are they called? Crackle, whatever, snap, crackle, pop, whatever it's called. It's called all those cereals which are toasted rice. There's brachas hadama. Only if you boil it in a pot to aduga, then it's right. Mochachwa, then it's mezonot. But if you have like toasted rice, it's hadama. So if you eat rice cakes, they have like those rice cakes. What's the bracha? Hadama, because it's toasted. It's not boiled. It's not the same thing, right? So a person has to know what's the bracha for each food. Also, let's say, right, a very obvious example. Let's say you're eating, let's say some food, let's say some meat and some whatever. He's eating, right, and he's having pickles on the side, and olives. Does he bless on the pickles and olives? No. Why? Because this is just coming as a side dish. This is not. We don't bless on that. So this is exactly what is warning you over here. This commandment, right? That what? Don't make a bracha which you don't need to make. So make sure that. So we have a rule in halacha, which is what? Sabek brachot leakel. What does that mean? If you're not sure about if you have to make a bracha, don't say. Better not to say, right? When in doubt, throw it out. They say.
What about if you make a mistake? How do you erase it?
Very good question. So the rule is like this. It says in the Shulchan Aruch, if you made a bracha which you don't need to make, and then you realized, chai pikda, guy I made a mistake. What should he do? If he just said Baruch Atah Hashem, like that, he says Lamdeni chukecha, because this is a pasuk in Tehillim, so it makes it into a pasuk. If he said already Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, it's too late already to do that. Too late, right? So then what do you do in case like that? So it says that's for your stomach, but what about for your soul? Right?
What you gonna do?
So what do you do? It says in the Shulchan Aruch, when a person makes a bracha levatah and they realize he made a mistake, what should you say? Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. This is what you have to say. Right. Yeah, that's right. That's the idea. This is what you have to do when you make a mistake. This is the idea. The person has to know, right? All these things, very, very important to understand. Amen. Very good. So let's do some. Yes. Very good. So we're going to do some Mishle, right? From the Chochmah of Shlomo Melech, the wisest of men. Right. So what does it say over here? So look what it says in Shlomo Melech, right? And this is Perek Yud Gimel, 13th Perek, in the 4th pasuk Daled. It says over there, Mitaveh ve'ayin nafsho atzel, ve'nefesh charutzim tedushan. It teaches you a good musar, good lesson, right? Good Shlomo Melech, the wisest of all men. It says over here like this, right? That when a person is lazy, zarmatzi, right? So what happens is that he's looking around to eat something, whatever. He doesn't have nothing. You know why? Because he's not working to bring any food. He doesn't have a job. He doesn't make parnasah. That's the idea, right? So he expects to eat for, nothing. He's not going to have anything. So what happens is that a person who's a lazy person, in the end, he's going to have nothing to eat. That's what happens, right? So a person has to know, you only have what you bring. This is right. Don't think that you're going to get some kind of miracles like this. Right? And when it says, "V'nefesh charutzim tedushan," but it says the ones who are industrious people, shomei levi, right? Industrious people, they're gonna be nice and healthy and full, This is the idea, right? So it's telling you a simple lesson in life that if you want to be, full and happy and wealthy, you gotta go out and work. Don't just think it's gonna come to you from the sky, like this, fall on you. You're gonna be lazy, do nothing all day, right? It's gonna say, oh yeah, everything will come. Doesn't work like that, right? Exactly, that's the idea, right? The same idea, yes. The Shlomo Melech talks about this very often over here in Mishnah. This idea that you have to be industrious, you have to be shomer yadamani. Don't just think it's going to come to you. But the deeper meaning also, the Mefarshim say over here in this pasuk is something deeper. That what? that if you want to be satiated in Torah, you also have to study Torah. Don't think it's going to come to you Torah from the sky. Nobody's it's not going to fall from the sky. So if you're lazy in Torah and you're not studying Torah, you're not going to know nothing. What do you expect? It's going to come to you from the sky? That's not going to come to you like that. Same thing with Torah. Just like, when Parnasah, you have to work on for the Parnasah. Also for Torah, you got to work. So don't be lazy, right? But a person who's industrious, what does that mean? Shomelia Torah, all the alops, chinacholops, Torahs. Bach. One book after the other, right? Finishes this book, goes to the next book. Like this, right? Never stops. So in the end, he's going to be satiated. He's going to be satiated with Torah. He's going to know everything, right? Mishnah, Gemara, Halakha, right? Everything he's going to know. Midrash, because he's working. That's the idea, right? That's the Shlomo Melech is teaching you. Okay, very good. Let's go on a little bit more. Look what it says, right? Unbelievable. It says, Kofer nefesh ish oshro. Right? It says that a person who has the wealth, Shlomo Melech teaches us, that saves his nefesh. Kofer nefesh. It saves himself from dying. What does that mean? That by giving tzedakah,
what saves?
it says like this, right? That a person who, his wealth, sim didreo, gadarches, taris neshamaso, adam yanso. Gadarchenso. What does that mean? It's telling you like this, right? That if you give tzedakah from your wealth, it's going to save you from dying. Because tzedakah tatzil b'mavet, right? This is a famous thing, right, that they say. So what does that mean? That a person can take his wealth and save himself, from dying by giving to tzedakah. This is the best thing to do if your person has sins, he needs to get some kapara. This, by the way, is a famous story about that. You know what it is, right? They say that in the time of Nebuchadnezzar, Rasha, the king of Babel, what happened was that, right, Daniel was over there. So what happened was that Nebuchadnezzar got a dream, and Daniel heard the dream. He came to Daniel and he told him the dream. Daniel was a big tzaddik. He knew how to interpret dreams, right? So he came to Daniel. He says, "What does this dream mean? Tell me, tell me what it means." So it tells him, he says, "You're in bad shape. You're gonna get it. You're gonna be killed. You're gonna die from your sins. So he tells him, tells Daniel, he had a rabbi, can you imagine? Even Nebuchadnezzar had a rabbi. So all the more so we should have a rabbi, right? Jews, we have Jews, should have a rabbi. So he came to Daniel and says, what should I do? How should I save myself? So he told him very simple. He says, take money, from the malchut from you and distribute it to the poor. And he says, this way your sin will be atoned, it will be delayed. So this is what happened, that he's saved, and Nebuchadnezzar, because of this, his kingdom was prolonged. They say, by the way, Daniel, they punished him for this also. Yeah. Why? Because he shouldn't have told Nebuchadnezzar advice to save him, because he was a Rasha, He should have let him fall into the ground, to the pit, because he was Ubedur, This is the idea. So, but he told them advice. The advice he gave him was, give tzedakah and your malchut will be prolonged. So this is exactly what it's telling you over here, right? That a person can be saved by giving tzedakah. That's the idea, right? So, right. So then it tells you like this. Interesting, right? Yes, that's true. Yes. Yesh midrash kaze. There is midrash like that. Yes. I know. I've heard that. Very good. So it says like this. Verash lo shama ge'ara. But it says, right, the person who's poor, garibi, kataki. He doesn't listen to people who give him advice. If the rabbi tells him give tzedakah, he doesn't listen. That's why he becomes poor like that. That's the idea. But this is also this pasuk applies also in Torah as well. We just talked about now the simple meaning of it, pashut pshat, right? But there's also something deeper than that. What does that mean? That a person can be saved if he has a lot of Torah. Zechut of Torah, it can save him also from all kinds of punishments. The punishments get delayed because he studies Torah. So Torah has an even bigger zechut than tzedakah. This is the idea. They say only one thing is bigger than tzedakah, which is Torah. The Talmud Torah is bigger than tzedakah. This is the idea, right? Talmud Torah can get kulam. It's against all the mitzvot, weighed against all of them. So this is also something which we practically find. You know where this is? The Chazal say that when you have a sotah, right? What does that mean? So there's a suspicion that she, that she lives with another man, right? So what happens is that she has to drink the water to test her if she lived with another man or not. You know the story, right? You know. Yeah, you know that, right? So they say in the Gemara, Masechet Sotah, something amazing. They say that sometimes when she drinks that water, even if she's guilty, you know, she's not going to die right away. Could die like 2 or 3 years later. You know? Yeah? So what's the reason? Says the Gemara, you know why? Because she studies Torah, this lady. Every day she opens up some Torah, she studies, and because of the zechut of the Torah that she studies every day, she's going to live for 2 or 3 years like that, without dying right away. So you see this great zechut that Torah has, right? Torah can save a person from anything, right? From everything. They say, by the way, that a person who studies Torah, even though there's the malchut, you know, the communist, you know, all these people, right? They're trying to IRS, right? Trying to get him. You know, they say that Torah, if he has Torah every day, it saves him from all these things. They can't get him. Nobody can touch him. You know, the zechut of Torah keeps all the enemies away. You know, the tax collectors and all these people, you know, the FBI, there's all kinds of people who are looking to trap you in something. You know, this is the KGB, you know, all those kinds of things, right? Putin, you know, Putin over there, right? All these kinds of things. If you have the zechut of Torah, they cannot touch you, the malchut. We see that in Pirkei Avot, right? What does it say in Pirkei Avot? Kol HaMekabel Alav Whole Torah, Ma'avrim Menu Ol Malchut, right? That's the idea, right? So what does that mean? If you take upon yourself the work of Torah, the malchut cannot touch you anymore. You know, they cannot grab you anymore. Communist, KGB, you know, CIA, FBI, all these people, right? Department of Justice, IRS, Uncle Sam, right? Uncle Joe, whatever it is, right? Uncle Bibi, whatever it is, nobody can touch you. That's the idea, right? Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen, amen. Chazak le'olam. Zanet.
რო თქვი რომ აი დიდარმა რო ცედაკა გაიგოსო ამ დიდარს აქ რაღაცა special rule რო შეუძლია